7 News reporter Caroline Kimbrell spoke with Braylee's mother today about how getting that sign up just in time for school means so much to their family. Caroline?
Braylee's mom told me nothing will ever make the hurt and pain go away, but says now when driving by Braylee's way, a smile comes across her face, knowing that her daughter left a big impact on a small community.
I can just see her face right now. She'd just be smiling, thinking she was a rock star, you know, that she's got a road named after her, and that's the perfect one.
After the tragic murder, the town came together to find a way to remember and honor her short life. Renee says when they approached her with the idea, she wasn't shocked. She says that's just how Velma is and couldn't think of a more perfect way to remember her girl.
That was Brady's way. That's where she went to the gym every day. That's where she loved to be. Where she spent 90% of her time. She ran up the road. That's just where the football field's there, and we said, what about calling it Braylee's Way?
Once the name was chosen, Stevens County officials had to make some changes to the E911 mapping. Those were completed, and last week, the sign was finally installed, just in time for the brand new school year.
Kind of start the healing process for each and every one of us, especially the kids who are going to be traveling that road for football games and softball games. We've already had a couple of softball games, basketball games. I just think it's good for everybody.
Renee says when she drives down that road, she gets mixed emotions. Sometimes she can't help but to cry, but other times she says it's a sweet reminder of the life her daughter lived, something that she hopes everyone will remember when they drive down Braylee's Way too.
It'll last forever after all of us are gone. It'll still be here, and I'm grateful for that. More importantly, I'm grateful for her legacy that she leaves, and that sign's just a reminder.
I asked Renee what she plans on doing with her copy of the sign, and she says she will cherish it forever, but still is thinking about where it will be placed in their home.
7 News reporter Caroline Kimbrell went to Rush Springs to get more information on the wreck and the people involved. Caroline?
The chief said 7 men who were part of the highway construction crew all piled into the pickup to head back to Oklahoma City. Only 3 could fit into the cab, so the other 4 got into the bed. He said that was a risky move made worse by the fact that it appears the truck's brakes were in bad shape. A needless death is how the chief of police describes what happened Monday night. He says the men had just finished their hard day of work and had told their boss that one of their trucks had broke down. So their employer suggested the remaining 4 men catch a ride with the others by riding in the bed.
They were heading from Sterling to Oklahoma City. That's way too far to travel in the back of the bed of a truck. Way too dangerous.
As they approached the intersection of highways 81 and 17, they realized their brakes weren't working and made a hard right turn to avoid the semi coming from the left. They made the turn, but the semi rammed the truck from behind, and it sailed into the ditch, ejecting everyone in the bed, killing one of them. Markham says they're not sure how fast the pickup was going, but they believe it was speeding. But more importantly, he says if they hadn't been hauling men in the back, the outcome could have been different.
If there had been nobody in the back of the pickup, we wouldn't have the fatality. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. It would have been just a simple accident.
Markham says, though it appears fatality brakes were the cause of the accident, the intersection of Highway 81 and 17 was also been a dangerous one. He says he's been working on getting an actual stoplight put to replace the blinking red light so fewer accidents occur.
Thanks, Caroline. The men involved in the accident weren't just your average state highway employees. They were part of a program called Hands Up, based in Oklahoma City, that helps registered sex offenders get adjusted to life after prison.
7 News reporter Caroline Kimbrell joins us live tonight from the Lawton Police Department. She took a look at the stats. So, Caroline, how did 2011 look on paper?
Dave, while Chief Ronnie Smith says crime stats might look bad on paper, he wouldn't characterize Lawton as bad, but there is room for improvement, something he hopes comes in 2012. Was a busy year for LPD, starting with a murder in the first week of January. Ashley Wright was accused of beating her son to death. That was just one of what would be 10 in 2011, an increase of 7 over 2010. Chief Smith says while this is a huge jump, it's something they can't prevent.
Homicides are unpredictable. You don't know how many homicides you're going to have in a year because most homicides occur, it's people who know people or someone is a robbery or something goes wrong and they hurt somebody or kill somebody.
Another area Chief Smith says that shot through the roof during 2011 was robberies, up by a whopping 54%.
A lot of these robberies we found out was the same people, and that's why they had just gotten out of prison or just come to Lawton, and they started robbing people left and right, and some of them pulled 5 or 6 robberies, and we eventually caught these people.
But not all crime increased. The good news is rape is down.
Rapes, we actually had a 5% decrease, from 2010 to 2011. And in 2010, we had a 37% decrease. So it's still going down.
Chief Smith says it's true. There were a lot of burglaries. Detectives did a good job in solving them. Detectives had a 58% overall clearance rate, meaning the criminals were caught.
It's hard to catch these people. But we set up a task force, consists of several different divisions, detectives, gang task force, patrolmen, and we're working on trying to get some of these people in jail, and we're going to get them.
Chief Smith still believes Lawton is a great place to live and grow.
Lawton is a fine place to live. Crime is not that bad in Lawton, Oklahoma. It's not any worse than anywhere else. In fact, I think it's a safer city than a lot of cities in this country.
Smith says ultimately for 2012, his hopes are for crime rate to go down. Smith also says he has created a task force to help comprise these areas. Reporting live from Lawton Police Department for 7 News, I'm Caroline Kimbrell.
7 News reporter Caroline Kimbrell has her story. So, Caroline, what concerns her most about this situation?
Dave, she said this has happened before. Back in October, he didn't bring Aubrey back, but they were in contact with each other, and they worked out a time for him to bring her home, and he did. This time, he didn't show up, and she hasn't heard from him since.
We've been trying to get a hold of him, in contact with him. Nobody is able. He's got his cell phone turned off.
Goodson was last seen with Aubrey in San Antonio, Texas on the 4th, something Edwards can't wrap her mind around.
I know that that's the only thing, is that he's just doing it to hurt me because, like I said, I've got the protective order on him. He knows he can't come anywhere near me. If he does, he goes straight to jail. Aubrey's the only thing right now that he can do to hurt me, and he knows that that's going to hurt me, is taking her away from me.
Edwards says that this isn't Goodson's first time to take her from an extended amount of time, but says this time feels different.
From Sunday at 10 o'clock when they last saw her, now here it's been 9 days. Or 8 days. He could have gone anywhere.
Now, Edwards says she just wants her little Aubrey back home safe and sound.
My main concern is her safety and her well-being. I don't know if he is actually, even, feeding her, changing her diaper. I don't know. She's 17 months old. She can't do for herself. You have to do everything. She can feed herself, things like that, but you have to get her food for her. You have to get her juice for her. You have to get her milk. You have to change her diaper.
I spoke with Waurika's police chief, Gary Whittington, and he told me when they found him, he will be charged with a felony of violation of child custody order. He said his main concern now is to get Aubrey home where she belongs and won't stop looking until it happens. Back to you.
Thanks, Caroline. And Aubrey's about 2 feet tall, 22 pounds, with curly brown hair and hazel eyes. She also has a birthmark on her right elbow. Waurika police say Bradley Goodson also goes by the name Jacob Blakely. He is 5'11", 195 pounds, with hazel eyes and short brown hair, possibly wearing glasses. If you have any information about Goodson or the child, contact the Waurika Police Department.
Continuing coverage of the 2013 Spirit of Survival training. Comanche County Memorial Hospital developed the program to prevent injuries and promote success for participants. It involves a kickoff workshop on Tuesday, July 9th, and a 12-week training program leading all the way to the SOS on October 6th. Tonight, we find out all the details with training coach Matt Aguero. If you need a little encouragement to participate in this year's Spirit of Survival training program, you won't want to miss out on the 8th annual SOS kickoff. Here, Spirit of Survival trainer Matt Aguero will break down everything you need to know to join in.
It'll be for beginners to advanced. We're going to talk about principles of training, like why we train and the reasons we do certain things. Also energy systems, what system works, as far as why we do long runs, why we do tempo runs. Also we'll be talking about shoes, proper running technique, and basically anything running that you need to know to get you ready for the race.
Aguero says the goal of the kickoff is to show participants they're not alone in this process and to help you meet personal goals during training.
I want people just to know that they can do it. We're going to give them a plan to do it and also give them workouts they can do step by step to get there. Whether they're a beginner and they're just wanting to get to the finish line, or whether they're more advanced and they're shooting for a certain time.
Aguero says the kickoff is the jump start you need to join the 12-week training sessions. He says coming out to this will build the confidence you need to be a part of the 2013 Spirit of Survival.
Because this is going to be the kickstart to get you going. Okay? Because these runs are for the average person. And we're going to give you a step-by-step process of how to get there, teach you about everything you need to know. Because I know as a beginner you're going to be very nervous about, what do I do race day? What do I do the week before? And we're actually going to tell you what to do the week before, what to do the day of the race, what to expect race morning in this kickoff.
If you're interested in coming out to the 2013 Spirit of Survival Camp, for those who have to work outside, hotter temperatures can take an even heavier toll. What are some of the most common heat-related problems? Tonight, we find out. When temperatures rise, doctors say many outdoor workers faced an increased danger of on-the-job health problems.
Illnesses include heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke.
Dr. Stephen Dawkins says heat stroke is the most serious of the heat-related ailments.
They may be weak, they may be tired, they may have a headache, but their skin is dry. And that means that they really have nothing more to sweat.
In that case, Dr. Dawkins says get out of the heat and seek immediate medical attention.
For heat exhaustion, a person becomes tired, they become lethargic, they might become a little disoriented. So they would be sweating profusely.
Replacing lost fluids with water or an electrolyte solution such as Gatorade should help the symptoms. Similar treatment is recommended for heat cramps.
Cramp occurs if you're working outside, you're exerting yourself, and you're sweating. And with that sweat, you're losing sodium and potentially potassium as well. That electrolyte imbalance leads to a muscle cramp.
To prevent heat-related illnesses, Dr. Dawkins recommends taking frequent breaks in a shady location and drinking fluids at least once an hour.